So your parents are getting divorced, kids, all right? You get 2 Christmases, you get 2 birthdays, you get 2 logins, you get 2 1099s, okay? There are a lot of big changes coming to Findaway Voices and how self-published authors can sell their audiobooks on Spotify. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Mary Kate M.K. Williams. I'm an author and I love sharing my insights about all things books and publishing with you. Before I get into the details of today's topic, don't forget to hit subscribe. You'll be notified every week as I put out videos on publishing, making a career to being an author, and now being a mompreneur. So there has been really big announcements with Findaway Voices and Spotify, and I'm going to spell that all out, but I want to kind of go over some of the background of what's been happening with Findaway Voices because I think it's going to explain this update really well. So back in 2023, Spotify purchased Findaway Voices. So self-published authors, like us, have been able to sell their audiobooks on Spotify via Findaway Voices. Findaway Voices has been the main wide distributor for audiobooks. There's also Authors Republic, but ACX, Audiobook Creation Exchange, is owned by Amazon. With that, you get to Audible, Amazon, and Apple. So it's a little bit wide, but really, Findaway Voices has been able to get us all of the same places ACX can get us, as well as Spotify, Chirp, audiobooks.com, all the other places. It's really been the main place to go for wide audiobook distribution. Moving forward, that's changing. So effective August 1st, 2025, so a few months from now when I'm putting out this video, authors can distribute their audiobooks direct to Spotify via Spotify for Authors. Okay. Findaway Voices has been sold to INAudio, so they're going to be now the big wide audiobook distributor. So what happened was Spotify, big company, bought Findaway Voices. Okay. So now Spotify, that has music and podcasts and traditionally published audiobooks, now has a self-publishing audiobook platform. But Spotify wants to specialize in Spotify and not in relationships with all these other vendors. So they said, okay, Findaway Voices, we're going to keep our distribution, letting authors distribute to Spotify, but the rest of you is going to go over here to INAudio and they know what they're doing. So I know you have a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions when I first learned this, so I'm going to go over them as best as I can right now. Any questions that I don't answer on this video or that you're still confused on, put that in a comment because 2 things are going to happen. One, I'm going to take all those comments, all those extra questions, and I'm either going to say, oh, I can explain that better, make a new video, or I'm going to send it directly to my contacts at Spotify who are helping with this transition and ask for a direct answer so I can make a new video. Or 3, I know that Spotify for Authors actually has looked at some of my previous videos and they may actually look at that and say, okay, a lot of people are asking the same thing. That's going on the FAQ page. So do not hold back your questions so that way they can make this clear for everybody, okay? Now, if you already have audiobooks for sale via Findaway Voices and you were distributing to Spotify, wouldn't you be? You have 2 options, okay? One option is you do nothing. You don't create a Spotify for Authors account. You don't check your Findaway Voices. On August 1st, you log into your new INAudio dashboard and everything is the same for your distribution, okay? You're still using an aggregator to distribute to Spotify. You have all of your other distribution already. Currently 1 login with Findaway Voices. Oh, you're still going to have 1 login with INAudio, okay? Your other option is if you want to go direct with Spotify for Spotify distribution, you're going to log in and you're going to create your Spotify for Authors account, okay? And then on August 1st, when Findaway Voices goes to INAudio, all of your other distribution, your Chirp, your audiobooks.com, your Hoopla, your Baker and Taylor, your Biblioteca, all of that goes over to INAudio, okay? But you still now you have 2 logins, okay? One for Spotify for Authors and one for INAudio, okay? So those are your options if you're already on this platform. What I'm being told is that obviously the teams are working together on the back end. They want this to be seamless, okay? So if you are already there, that's fine. Now let's say you were working on some dates to your nonfiction books that you wanted to go live this summer in July. Like you're going to have like new covers made, update the contents, be up to date. You can still update your audiobooks on Findaway Voices prior to the switchover, prior to August 1st. If you need to upload a new book, do it with Findaway Voices. That's the advice I was given when I asked that direct question. If I have an update, what do I do? If I want to upload a new book, what do I do? And what I was told was prior to August 1st, everything on Findaway Voices, okay? Because all that data is going to be shared out. My personal recommendation, I know the team is going to do everything they can, is it's technology. If you get to mid-July and you have a book you just can't wait to upload a second longer, wait. If you have an update you just need to make, do it before mid-July, because my thought is there's going to be a backlog of things. Like, don't wait till like 10:30 p.m. on July 31st and be like, oh yeah, this is definitely going to come. Like, it's technology. There's going to be glitches. I would say kind of give yourself a mid-July through mid-August buffer to not be doing any updates if you can avoid it. I think that's also just going to help a more seamless transition if a bunch of people aren't trying to log in and make edits to like the system that just switched over. So that's my from MK opinion. Obviously, the teams I talked with said, yes, we're doing everything for a seamless transition, but it's technology. What happens with technology, folks? Sometimes there's glitches. Okay. Now, if you don't want a separate login for Spotify, you're good. I just want one login for all my audiobook distribution. Don't do anything. Okay. If you're like, I don't want to get two 1099s, I don't want two logins, just one, you can still have everything go over to INAudio and nothing will change. Okay. And just accept you will have two 1099s this year because it's a new company. But moving forward, only one 1099. But what's going to happen is right now with Findaway Voices, when we make a sale on Spotify or we have our listening hours on Spotify, they're waiving the distribution fee, right? Because Spotify owns it, like they're distributing to themselves. Once you go to INAudio, those Spotify sales will have the distribution fee, just like you would have on Authors Republic to distribute to Spotify. There'd be that distribution fee. So keep that in mind. If you really value simplicity, don't change anything. Don't log in. Let the switchover happen on August 1st. If you value getting the higher royalty direct, then definitely go in and make your Spotify for Authors account. Right, so starting August, again, if you have decided you want that direct control for Spotify, you're going to have your Spotify for Authors login. You're going to have your INAudio login. You have a new audiobook. Got to upload it both places. You have to make edits. Got to make edits both places. So keep that in mind. Now, what about any current promotions that you have scheduled? All right. Now, if you've already generated your 100 Spotify redemption codes on Findaway Voices for your audiobooks, those are still porting over, and it still shows which ones have been redeemed. You don't get them back. They know. They know. Okay. If you've scheduled promotions for early August, like maybe I was planning to do for the Infinite, those should all still be in effect. I would suggest waiting till like August 2nd or 3rd to like double check that those pricing promotions are in place as they should be. It's technology. Pack your patience. There's going to be a couple glitches. If there were no glitches in this transition, I would be nervous because it's crazy. How could there not be a glitch? All right, so who is this new company INAudio, and do they even know audiobooks? Do you even want to be with them? Do they know self-publishing? Like, do they know what authors need? Who are they? So back when Spotify acquired Findaway Voices, there were inevitable personnel changes. Like, I don't know if people were like, oh, people left on their own, do something else. I don't know. But apparently a lot of the original team for Findaway Voices now works for INAudio. So they're in the same territory. They know what they're doing. So that, I guess, makes me feel better. Again, like it's all still within the family. Hi, this is MK from only a couple days into the future with a quick time in, time out here. So I did realize there was another question that I didn't originally answer, and that was about the 11 Labs agreement that Findaway Voices announced not even like a month ago. I know I just put out that video a couple weeks ago. You all sent me some really lovely DMs and messages about how I'm horrible for daring to mention that AI exists. So thanks for that. So I did confirm with my sources at Spotify that yes, the same agreement that Findaway Voices had as far as being able to accept audiobooks created by 11 Labs will apply to Spotify. So that agreement, if that's what you were planning to do with Findaway, that shouldn't be a factor in deciding whether you want to go only with Findaway or with Spotify for Authors and INAudio. You'll have that option. Okay. I think that about covers it. What questions do you still have? Again, please post them below. I'm going to bring them to my contacts at Spotify to get you answers as soon as I can. If I don't answer them on the channel, they may end up in the FAQ over there. All right. Keep your questions coming. We're going to roll with the changes. We're going to be able to handle it because we're self-published authors. We got this. All right. If you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, or maybe hit that shiny new thanks button. That tells YouTube you got value from this information, and then they can get it in front of other authors like us. And you can go back to writing your book.